The sword of fire was here, as well our friends, but I only sense loss. We are too late. The elemental weapons have left this realm and are now in the underworld. Zane to Cole and Jay. Hello, I'm Sensei the Dark Master, and in today's installment of The Lore of Ninjago, for the spooky month of October, we shall be covering the dark realm known as the Underworld. Ooh. We shall be covering the realm's history, those that inhabit it, its geological features, and much, much more. The underworld came into existence long ago at some unknown point in time alongside the other 15 realms. It became a sort of purgatory slash purgatorio area in which warriors and other animals go when they are disgraced slash unable to accept their passing, especially those that try to conquer Ninjago. It also served as a prison for some other beings, such as the smoke creature from the very underrated Ninjago graphic novels, Mask of the Sensei. At some point before the start of the series, the four-armed being that would become known as Samukai died and, through combat, became the king of the underworld. After the death of the first Spinjitzu master, his two sons, Garmadon and Wu, fought for control over the golden weapons of Spinjitzu. Garmadon sought to use their powers to rule over the realm, while Master Wu simply wished to keep the peace. In the end, Garmadon lost the duel, was struck by lightning, ripping his flesh off, exposing his ribs, and turning his remaining skin black. And he was banished into the underworld by falling into a deep, dark ravine. Garmadon, upon arriving in the underworld, was greeted by the Skulkin, and with his power slash skill, overthrew Samukai and became the king of the underworld, and sent the Skulkin to invade Ninjago to reclaim the four golden weapons. Wu, of course, not wanting this, recruited the original four ninja to help stop this, with the sensei even sacrificing himself down the fire temple's lava fall to enter into the underworld to confront Garmadon, risking his mortal life. The ninja would follow into the underworld using the help of the dragons to leave their realm. They would defeat the Skulkin by using the tornado of creation to trap them into a skeleton giant Ferris wheel and went to help their master, but could only watch as Garmadon escaped the underworld after the combined power of the four golden weapons annihilated Samukai and opened a portal to a different realm. After this point, one of the Skulkin generals would become the king, and the underworld itself would make a few more cameos. First, when Fenric of the Cloud Kingdom showed it to the ninja while he was explaining the concept of the 16 realms, and when Lloyd was fighting Moro and was sent through that realm during the fight. During the end of the Dark Island trilogy of graphic novels, Klaus the Sorcerer was banished to the underworld and surrounded by Skulkin, like Garmadon before him. It is presumed that he became king of the underworld at that point. During the March of the underworld was attacked by the Oni's darkness, and its inhabitants were turned to stone, though this was reversed when the ninja defeated the Oni using the tornado of creation. The last appearance of the underworld was when Sensei Wu tried to open the portal to the Neverrealm, which didn't work, and he instead saw a bunch of other realms, included the Departed Realm and the Underworld. Now that the history is concluded, let us discuss what beings and individuals dwell in the underworld. First and most famously, there are the Skulkin, which are a band of skeletal warriors that were genuinely dim-witted beings that literally have stupidity alongside anger and obedience as some of their main values. Reminds me of a group of certain people, but whatever. Also, in this realm are the massive spiders known as spicors. They are noteworthy for two traits. First, they have a distinct skull shaped pattern on their otherwise dark blue abdomen, and they have a huge, massive size, being easily several meters wide. I mean, literally, they are larger than people. Other traits they have are glowing red eyes, prominently large mandibles, and flat bodies that allow them to camouflage onto the underworld ceiling. And they can also, much like most spiders, make webbing to capture enemies. Interestingly, there is a dwarf population of mini spikers on Chen's Island. Whether this represents a separate but closely related species or a greatly malnourished inbred population is frankly unknown at this point. Also dwelling in an underworld are various entities like the shaped shifting smoke creatures that could pretend to be other things and were scared of their own reflection. They were kept there by the Skulkin as prisoners, but Garmadon's plans distracted them long enough for such entities to escape. Of course, there were other people like Garmadon or Klaus who were banished there, but weren't proper Skulkins. In terms of geography slash landscape, the underworld is a gloomy, dark place with a ceiling bearing massive stalactites. Beneath this, there are various pieces of floating land that just hover there. They are connected by long wooden bridges used for walking with numerous lit torches to provide sufficient lighting. It is a rather dark place, all things considered, and we don't know what really exists there down in the depths of the underworld, though no doubt it's evil. In the underworld, there is one prominent location that's worth mentioning, that being Garmadon's Dark Fortress that served as the base of operations for Lord Garmadon. Despite its name, it was seemingly built before he rose to power, likely by Samukai. In the show, it is this large Sauron like tower, but in contrast, in the set form, it's a far more standard fort that is far wider and less tall, and it continued to be used after Garmadon left the underworld, being taken over by Klaus at some point. The underworld, despite its serious nature, has the most known entrances to it. Firstly, you could die after being dishonored in battle, which would send you into the underworld. Apparently, Samukai, after having his body disintegrated, went to the departed realm, but we don't know if that's the general rule. As if you die in the underworld, do you get sent to the departed realm? Can you eventually redeem yourself and go into the departed realm? We just don't really know if this is really a permanent prison or if it's just a temporary purgatory. Dragons can also enter the realm with ease as they are able to travel between realms. The Skulkin vehicles can also do so when driving at a very high speed, and there is a physical entrance behind the lava fall in the Fire Temple. Other ways that someone can enter the underworld include the Realm Crystal, which was created by the first Spinjitzu Master to help him go between realms, and there was also Traveler's Tea, which could open a portal to all but one of the 16 realms. From the underworld, we learn the horrible fate of people that don't accept the passing of loved ones, and that if we let ourselves be consumed by the metaphorical hell of guilt and a lack of self reflection, we will only suffer pain that is just so horrible. And also, we learn not to praise stupidity. It's honestly quite a dumb trait, and we shouldn't encourage it. I am Sensei the Dark Master, and join me next time on The Lore of Ninjago. Have a happy Halloween.